I stopped forcing myself to get out of my comfort zone, and that's when my businesses finally took off. Everyone tells you to get outside your comfort zone, to do the things that scare you if you want to grow. We've been convinced that if you are not uncomfortable, you are not growing. And I believed this for way too long until it nearly destroyed me in my business. When I expanded my comfort zone instead of leaving it, my whole approach to growth shifted. So I'm going to share my completely different take on comfort zones, the anxiety scale, and the expansion method that helped me build multiple 6-figure and 7-figure businesses without burning out. Because the constant anxiety that most entrepreneurs think is part of the job doesn't have to be. Before we dive in, Revolut Business, the all-in-one business account, is offering a $200 welcome bonus for new signups. The link is below, and I will talk more about that in a bit. Now, let's talk about why everything you've been told about comfort zones is actually wrong. What if your comfort zone isn't something to escape from? What if we have got this completely backwards? Here's how I actually think about comfort zones now. Your comfort zone isn't this limiting box that you need to break out of. It's actually telling you what your values and philosophies are as an artist and as a human being, as a business owner. Your comfort zone is like your business vision. It's showing you who you fundamentally are, and here's the thing. You don't have to change that to be successful in business. That is really my belief. I know there is so much pressure from social media saying you have to be, do, think, or look a certain way in order to be successful. And I am living proof that you don't have to be what a typical business person is to have your own version of success. I believe your comfort zone is actually your zone of genius. Take consistency, for example. Everyone in the business world is obsessed with consistency. Post every day, show up at the same time, have a routine, do the same thing over and over and over again every single day, or at least every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And if you can't do it, you are shamed into thinking you are not cut out to be a good business owner. Consistency was completely outside my own comfort zone. My brain just doesn't work that way. And for years, I tried to force myself into this consistent schedule that made me miserable. The only thing I was consistent with was feeling less than about myself for way too long. Then I realized, instead of changing who I am, what if what this is all telling me was that I just have a different circadian rhythm? And instead of fighting it, I should work with my natural rhythm. So I leaned into what my actual rhythm is, where and when I work best, what feels good for my brain and body. Instead of forcing consistency into my schedule that was naturally resistant to it, I found ways to show up consistently, because you do still have to do that, but without having to actually be consistent myself. So I started batching content using automated scheduling tools for social media, creating systems, and I planned my calendar to let me work in bursts when I felt inspired and have plenty of time for rest. The result was I was able to maintain a consistent presence for my audience, which, as I've mentioned, is important in business, but while honoring my natural work style, which is not consistent at all. But I didn't have to become a different person to be successful, is my point. I just had to get aligned with working with who I already am, which is so much easier to do. Which, by the way, I am writing an entire book around all of this called Make It Easy. It's about how to make things easier for yourself as an artist in business so you can have more financial success and happiness. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe or follow me so you know when it's ready for you to read. So, okay. Why does everyone then keep telling us to leave this zone that's actually protecting our genius? And I think it's because they don't understand what happens when you push too hard. Here's what nobody talks about with all of this leave your comfort zone advice that is everywhere. When you force yourself way outside your comfort zone and then you get hurt, whether that's a failed launch or a craft show that was so bad you couldn't break even and people were being rude to you, or putting your art and therefore yourself out there onto social media only to get criticized or rejected, it takes a long time to recover from stuff like that. You don't just bounce back the next day. You lose momentum in your business, you retreat, and then you stop showing up entirely. You have an existential crisis. And here's the worst part. You actually build more fear around that thing. Now you have trauma and wounds that are infected, and your brain's like, see, I told you that was dangerous, don't do that ever again. I learned this the hard way when I was trying to force myself to do things that felt like my heart was going to stop from anxiety instead of things that felt exciting. The recovery time from those experiences was weeks, sometimes months and years, depending on the gravity of the hurt. And my business was spinning its wheels, it wasn't going anywhere. The point is, when you honor your natural boundaries and work within them, you can actually push those boundaries out gradually without the trauma and setbacks that come from forcing yourself into situations that genuinely feel threatening to your psyche. Speaking of working with your natural tendencies instead of against them, this is exactly why I've been looking into business financial options that don't make me want to hide under my desk. Revolut Business, who is sponsoring today's video, is a financial super app that's specifically designed for online businesses and creative entrepreneurs to help you manage and stay in control of your business finances. Globally, over 20,000 businesses are joining Revolut Business every month, and it is easy to see why. What I love about Revolut Business is how many creative entrepreneurs say it is better than traditional accounts for managing money. When I opened my account, it only took me like 10 minutes. It was super easy and fast to do. Their smart tools are what really make a real difference though. My expenses are automatically categorized when I snap a receipt. Everything syncs with accounting tools like Xero, and I can send invoices or payment links straight from DMs or via email. Plus, if you're paying freelancers or suppliers internationally, you can send money globally in over 25 plus currencies, which is much faster and cheaper than regular bank transfers. It also integrates directly with Shopify and other e-commerce platforms, so if you're selling online like me, everything just flows together seamlessly. Revolut Business is running a promotion right now for new business users. If you sign up by scanning the QR code or via the link in description and add money to your account by December 31st, 2025, you'll receive a $200 welcome bonus. Subscription fees and terms and conditions apply. Now, this is where most people get it completely wrong about discomfort. They think all anxiety is the same and it's all bad, but it's not. So let's talk about the anxiety scale. There are many kinds of anxieties, but for the context of this video, I wanted to highlight the two different types of anxieties, and learning to tell them apart is a subtle but crucial step. So first, there's the type of anxiety that's feeling that rush of excitement that can also feel a little bit scary. It might feel like nervousness or adrenaline. A lot of performers feel this when they go on stage to act or sing, dance, or give a talk. You might be feeling this selling at your first craft show, or maybe even your 100th craft show, I don't know. And then there's the other type of anxiety where you feel like the whole world is going to come crashing down on you and you are going to stop breathing and have a heart attack. It is usually hard to tell the difference between those two because they show up very similarly in your body. That feels exciting anxiety is like butterflies in your stomach where your heart rate goes up, but there's also this underlying sense of curiosity and possibility and potentially even fun. It's exhilarating. It's your body saying, this could be good for us. The whole world is going to come crashing down type of anxiety is completely different. It's that fight or flight response where the chest gets really tight, your brain stops working, and every cell in your body is screaming for you to abort mission because you would rather get a 1-star review than to do this thing that's giving you this bad anxiety. It's your nervous system genuinely believing you're in danger. Most business advice pushes us too far into this discomfort. It burns you out and makes you resentful of your business because the cost of success is too great, especially when you don't see proportionate results to the suffering you've put yourself through. And that's where things go wrong. What you need to do is learn to work in that exciting zone of genius and avoid spending too much time in the world crushing down zone, because that's not growth in my personal experience, that is trauma. And trauma doesn't help you build a business. It just makes you want to hide and give up everything you have worked so hard for. So if you're not supposed to leave your comfort zone, then how do you actually grow? Here's the expansion method that I use that helped me build multiple 6- and 7-figure online businesses without changing who I am, but instead working with my strengths. Instead of taking these massive leaps that send your nervous system into panic mode, you make small, sustainable nudges. Daily, weekly, it doesn't matter as long as it's done routinely. It's something that you practice over time. So just tiny pushes at the edge of your comfort zone that feel exciting, not terrifying. For example, with pricing for me, this looked like starting with a tiny price increase instead of massive jumps that made my stomach drop and feel impossible to do. Like, I knew I was undercharging for my necklaces at $28. I couldn't imagine charging what I really needed to for a healthier profit margin because that felt like bad anxiety. Because what if nobody bought them? What if customers got angry, right? So instead, I raised them by just a few dollars. That felt exciting, like, oh, let's see what happens. A few months later, I bumped them a few more dollars. And then eventually all the way up from $28 to $49.99. So each step felt manageable because I did it slowly over time. And it even felt exciting because if the price increase worked, it means I was taking home more income from my business without working more. But I wasn't forcing myself to do something drastically different than I felt was too far out of my comfort zone. I was just gently expanding what felt possible. And you know what? Customers didn't even notice the gradual increases, but my loyalists definitely would have noticed a sudden $22 jump. But here's the important part that most people miss. You have to put your ego out of the way. I had to be okay with making mistakes and not viewing them as some personal reflection of my self-worth. Laughing off or learning from the mistakes made it faster for me to try again instead of being sad and licking my wounds and playing the victim, thinking, woe is me. When a post flopped, or I stumbled over my words in a video, instead of thinking, I'm terrible at this, I actually started thinking, I'm actually learning something, and the next time I do it, it will be better. And no one is going to remember or even notice that I made a mistake. And those that do, and give you a hard time about it, you don't want to design your life around those people anyway. What I love about this approach is that it works with your natural tendencies instead of against them. If you're naturally introverted, you don't force yourself to become an extrovert. You find ways to connect with people that feel authentic to you. If you're not naturally consistent, you build systems that let you show up without forcing yourself into a daily routine that makes you miserable. Over time, your comfort zone actually expands. Things that used to feel impossible start feeling normal, but you never have to abandon who you are at your core. You're just becoming a more multi-dimensional version of yourself, not a completely different person. Now, here's where this gets really tangible, because once you understand this difference between expanding versus going out of your comfort zone, you start seeing it everywhere in your business, especially with the thing that sends most creative entrepreneurs straight into that bad anxiety zone. Like take social media, for example. Everyone tells you to post daily, be on every platform, constantly put yourself out there. But what if I told you that some of the biggest sales months I have ever had came from barely posting on social media at all? Instead, I was using a completely different strategy that actually felt easy, fun, and exciting to do instead of scary. Because this is exactly what I mean about working with your comfort zone instead of against it. There is a whole other way to get your products in front of thousands of people that most creative entrepreneurs never even try, and it doesn't even require you to become someone you're not. And I cover that in the workshop that I teach for free in the link in description below. And don't forget, if you're ready to take control of your business finances, sign up to Revolut Business by scanning the QR code or the link in bio. And if you add money to your account before December 31st, 2025, you will receive a $200 welcome bonus. Subscription fees and terms and conditions apply, available for new business customers in the US.